I saw also an angel standing in the sun, and he cried out with a loud voice and said to all the birds that fly in mid-heaven,
"Come here, be gathered together to the great evening meal of God, so that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of military commanders, and the flesh of strong men, and the flesh of horses, and of those seated on them, and the flesh of all, of free men, as well as of slaves, and of small ones and great."
And I saw the wild beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to wage war against the one seated on the horse and against his army. And the wild beast was caught, and along with it the false prophet that performed in front of it the signs with which he misled those who received the mark of the wild beast and those who worship its image. While still alive, they both were hurled into the fiery lake that burns with sulfur. But the rest were killed off with the long sword that proceeded out of the mouth of the one seated on the horse. And all the birds were filled with their flesh.
Who else but Christ Jesus would lead the heavenly forces to the battle of Armageddon? False religion has already been destroyed. Now Jesus turns his attention to what remains of Satan's wicked world, its political and commercial systems. He dismantles, destroys, and brings to nothing all who oppose true worship on earth.
Yes, all who oppose true worship on earth, all who refuse to become Jehovah's Witnesses, will get a severe beating at Armageddon by Jesus, with his long sword. Is it me, or does his sword look a bit more like a lightsaber there? Maybe I've just been watching too much Star Wars, or maybe the Bethelites who make this artwork have been watching Star Wars, but I don't know, that just seems to me to be glowing rather than being a traditional sword. So yes, who knew? Jesus is a Jedi now. In addition to being a country singer, he's a Jedi, and he's going to annihilate all who oppose Jehovah. In all seriousness, this dramatic Bible reading is rather triggering, isn't it? It's laced with all of these sound effects, all of these noises of explosions and gunfire. I can imagine it making for pretty triggering viewing for many in the audience. And if you're a young child, you're going to be terrified as well, aren't you? You know, listening to all of those noises and thinking, oh yes, this is this terrifying destruction that's coming, and I don't want to be on the wrong end of it. And it's worth just repeating that an organization that relies upon fear in this way to drive home its message is clearly not an organization we ought to be taking seriously.